We are now live. Happy Tuesday afternoon, everyone out there. This is Dre All Day coming to y'all live from Work on Your Game University headquarters. I guess we're doing social learning today, distance learning today. I don't think any of y'all is here physically in the same spot, but we are going to get into our material, what we're going to talk about here today. Hopefully this live is actually working. Let me make sure it's actually working. Sometimes Instagram be faking me out. And I just gotta be sure this is on. So as people are coming in, you could shout yourself out in the comment section, tell me your name, location. We started a little bit earlier today than normal, but as y'all come in, again, the deal is still the deal. Shout yourself out in the comment section. We're gonna get started in like 30 seconds. Whoever's here is here, and we're gonna go right into it. Hope everybody's had a great Tuesday so far. This might be the first day of the week or first day of school for some of you if you had a Labor Day holiday. Shout out to everybody who had that Labor Day holiday. Hopefully you did something good for yourself, whether that was, I don't know, spending some time, relaxing, partying, working out. Maybe you were just working. Maybe you had school. Maybe you didn't have a vacation. Either way, we're going right into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, former 9-year professional athlete, author of 27 books. I've done 4 TED Talks. I've created this whole philosophy here that is called Work on Your Game. That philosophy is all about taking the mentality necessary to succeed in sports, at the top 1% of the sports world, and how you take those same mental tools and apply those tools in business, and you apply them in life. You can use these anywhere you go in life. This whole philosophy that I created, Work on Your Game, is not about playing sports. It started from sports, but it is not about sports. So I want everybody to understand, even if you're not an athlete, everything that I talk about here will be 100% valuable for you. So the topic here today is how to deal with life's things, the things that come up in life, the things that happen in life, the things that that can occur in your life. I'm gonna try to not curse, even though the title is the title in this live, simply because if I promote this later on or I boost it on Facebook, they might not let me boost it if I use too much profanity. So I'm gonna try to not use profanity, even though y'all see what the title is of this live. I might edit the title on Facebook before I promote it, but y'all see what it is. So the reason why this title is the title and the topic's the topic is because everybody in life's gonna deal with things. Things come up in life. I think everyone can understand that. Some of you just got done dealing with something. Some of you are about to deal with something, and many of you are in the midst of dealing with something in some area of your life, whether that something involves other people, places, things. There's always something going on in life. So we got to figure out how to deal with these things while at the same time continuing to move forward. Because these things that come up, the stuff that comes up, might be very inconvenient. It may be unforeseen. It might be something that is costing you your resources, like your time. Maybe you got to spend money to deal with a situation. Maybe you got to give up a bunch of your energy. Maybe in order to deal with something over here, you got to not do the thing that you want to be doing over there. So dealing with these things in life, we have to have a mechanism, a framework, a system in our minds for how to deal with this stuff, so that when things come up in life, because we know things will always come up, if you're not already dealing with something that has already come up, you're going to need a way to get past it, get through it, handle it, and keep moving. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. And anyone who has a question, I will be addressing those at the end of today's live. So let's get right into the points. Again, today's topic is how to deal with the stuff that comes up in life. I'm just saying stuff again. So if I use too much profanity, Facebook might not let me promote it, but we'll see. Point number 1, you got to understand this is all part of the game, okay? It's all part of the game that things are going to come up in life, that people are going to get in your way, people are going to let you down, something's going to happen that you didn't see coming, that you didn't want coming. It is not your fault, but it will be your responsibility to handle. This is all part of the game that you have to deal with, and understand that being that we're human beings is always going to be something happening, because the world is basically run and created by humans, and human beings are by nature, we are all imperfect. This business guy named Alex Sharfin, I said this on my story earlier today. He said that when your business is going great, meaning when everything is working in your business the way you want it to, is always going to be something in there broken. Something's not going to be working. For example, any of you who runs a business or works in a business, and you're close enough to the operations of it, you know that when you start bringing in a whole bunch of new leads, those leads are going to need to be, now you got to make sure you're nurturing those leads and giving them the information they need so they can make a purchasing decision. Or let's say you start selling a whole lot of your product, maybe more than you even thought you were going to sell. Your product is just selling out ridiculously. Usually when you start having all of those sales, now your challenge is, now we got to fulfill all of these orders. Now we got to make sure we have all of this product. And then if you're doing a bad job fulfilling the orders with the product, now you're going to get a whole bunch of customer service complaints. Or if your company starts making a lot more money than it's used to making, now you got accounting issues that you got to deal with. Now you got financial things you got to handle. So no matter what's happening in your business, even when it's going well, if going well means getting a lot of leads, if going well means you got a lot of followers online, if going well means you're selling a lot of product, there's going to be another issue, a balancing out issue that you're going to have to deal with because of the good thing that's happening over here. So for example, if you're an athlete and you want to, let's say you play football or basketball and you want to lose a lot of weight and you lose the weight, well, at the same time that you lost that weight, you might lose a little bit of your strength. Maybe you can't move people out the way that you used to because you don't have as much body weight as you had before. Maybe you could replace that with muscle, but it might take a little bit of time. So there's always this balancing out that's going to happen in life. So when something is going well in one area, you might have something that is messed up in another area. Again, not necessarily because of that thing, but because we're human. Life is run and built by human beings. So when something's going great, something's going to be broken. The better you do in one area, the more you got to deal with stuff in another area. For example, if you want to own a big house, any of you, maybe some of you own a really big house with a big lawn and all that. If you own a big house, you got to pay for the landscaping to make sure the grass is maintained and the lawn is maintained. You got to pay for the maintenance. Anything that goes wrong in that house. Baseboards are broken. There's a crack in the floor. The refrigerator stops working. The toilet is running. Some pipes burst. You got to pay for that. Right? Every year, you got to pay the property taxes on that house because it's your house. There's nobody who's responsible for that. And anything that comes up in that house, you got to pay for it and fix it. Those are the costs that go along with having a big house. So even though it's great to have this beautiful house that you got, and it was beautiful on the outside, you know on the inside, there's a whole lot of stuff that you have to deal with as a part of that being your situation. On the other hand, if you're like me, for example, and you like living in condominium buildings or you like renting where none of those costs are accrued to you. So if something breaks, I can just make a phone call, they come fix it. The light's not working, you make a phone call, they send maintenance is done. A window gets broken, let's say it's a hurricane and a tree comes in here and just cracks the glass. All I gotta do is make a phone call, they come fix it. I ain't gotta worry about the cleanup. I don't have to worry about how much it costs. I don't even know how much it costs and I don't even care. Why? Because in this situation, I don't have to worry about any of those things. However, there's a trade-off for that. There's a trade-off that when you live in a building, they get to make some rules. So for example, when COVID-19 happened, the building said, we're going to close the gym because we don't want COVID to spread by people coming to the gym. The building said, we're going to close the amenities, meaning like the lounge and any areas where anybody who lives in the building can come and just hang out. Might have a couch, a TV, just a nice place to hang out. That's not open. They closed it because of COVID. Or they say the pool is closed. Nobody can go to the jacuzzi. Nobody can go here. Nobody can do that. So they can close off all the common areas of the building, even though you might not think it's a good idea. But here's the thing. You decided that you didn't want to have a big house. You want to live in this building. So now you got to deal with some of the rules that they're allowed to put in. Even if you own the condo in the building, you still got to deal with some of the rules that they put in. So there's a trade-off that you got to deal with no matter what you're doing in life. Okay, this is the way that it works in every area, and this is all part of the game. Point number 2, topic here today is how to deal with the stuff that will come up in life, even though it's not your fault, it will still be your responsibility. Number 2, understanding in life, nothing will ever be perfect. As I already said, we're all human beings. I have yet to meet a perfect human being. I don't know if any of you know any perfect human beings, but I don't know any. I'm not one. I don't know any perfect ones. I've never come across one. I've never seen one who even look like they might be perfect. So there will always be a trade-off. There was this movie that Tyler Perry did back in, this probably had to be about 10 years ago. And I don't remember what the title of the movie was, but it was a bunch of married couples. They went on like a retreat. And early in the movie, the men were all together. And one of the men said, he was like one of the older guys in the group. And he was just giving out some wisdom. He said, listen, any woman that you date, you are probably going to get 80%. If you take 100% of everything you would want, he's talking to the men, anything you would want in a perfect, ideal woman, the woman that you end up with and you think she's amazing, she's going to give you about 80% of everything that you would want in a perfect individual. And why is this? Well, first of all, I find that absolutely true, simply because, as I just said, there are no perfect human beings. So it's not possible for you to find someone who is perfect. Now, you might be able to see them perfect, but there are some things that you're going to be willing to say, you know what, I'm all right with the fact that they're not this, or I'm all right with the fact that they might not have this part, but they got all of these other things to go with it. 80% is probably what you're going to get. Again, he's just talking about relationships. Now, could this be different when we're talking business or something else? Sure. But let's just use this example that I'm giving. For example, men who are watching this. I know there's some men watching this assuming that you're heterosexual. If you're not, then you can't use this example, but you can still understand it, that you want a woman, let's say, who cooks, cleans, she's beautiful, she takes care of the kids, and she has a thriving, high-paced career that's going on. It's hard for anyone to do all of that. If somebody got a thriving, high-paced career, they might not be able to cook and clean every day, and they might not be around to take care of the kids as a housewife all the time because they got to be at work. So you're going to have to ask yourself, all right, which parts of these are most important? It's hard to do it all right? And it's hard to expect somebody else to do it all. So you might have to pay for a housekeeper to take care of the house, and y'all both can find your time to take care of the kids, of course. But if both people are career people, they might not be able to be the housewoman that you want them to be, because look, they got to be out the house doing their thing the same way you got to be out of the house doing your thing. There's a trade-off that you have to make. Or maybe, let's say you decide you want a woman who's not super ambitious like you, but she'll be a great mother to the kids and she'll be a great housekeeper. She'll keep the house clean and have dinner made for you when you get in the house. But you also got to understand that you got to do your thing, because she might not be as ambitious career-wise as you are. So that's the trade-off that you're making. She's like, all right, I'm going to not do the career thing. I'm going to do the mother and the housewife thing while you do the career thing. And that's the trade-off that has to be made. Why? Because there are no perfect human beings. Everybody's not going to be able to do everything all at the same time. The same way you, as the man, you might not be at home cleaning the house and making dinner and taking care of the kids all day, but you going to work and you're building a business and doing what you got to do to take care of yourself and your family. There's a trade-off that happens there. It's the same for the woman. Any women out there watching, if you want a man who makes really good money to be able to take care of the family, you understand that there are times where he's not going to have that much time. Why? Because he's out working. He's out doing what he got to do for the business. He might not be around as much with the kids. He might not always be able to do the dates 2-3 times a week or spend time watching TV because he's out working, and that's what you wanted in the man. So there's a trade-off that has to be made in some area in all of life anytime that you're dealing with human beings. I'll give y'all another example, and men and ladies will be able to understand this. Recently, for a long time, I've heard people making comments about social media models, or what most people say Instagram models, right? These women who will be on Instagram and they're showing off their bodies and they have very little clothing on. It's obviously they're trying to show off their bodies to get attention and get likes and get whatever it is that comes with it. Maybe they want to get a brand deal. They just want to build their brand and get attention and be known. And maybe that's what they want to do for a living. Maybe that's what they want, right? And I've heard women that I know asking me about this. How can you say something about these women who are showing themselves off and these things, and saying things that I've heard women that I know who don't do that saying negative things about women who are into doing these things. Now, I made clear, I said this a couple of days ago, that listen, there's a space for that. There's a market for it, and it's not illegal to do that. So if somebody wants to do it, they can do it. But let's make sure we're clear here on the trade-offs that you might want to get with this. The thing that I can say, and I think I'm speaking for many heterosexual men when I say this, listen, we appreciate the Instagram ass models. Sorry, we appreciate the IG models, the booty models, whatever you want to call them, who taking all their clothes. We appreciate their presence. We want them to keep doing what they're doing. All right, we might not want our mom or our sister or our daughter to become that, maybe not, but we like seeing somebody else do it. All right, the same way you can listen to a rapper who raps about shooting people and selling drugs, and you like the music, doesn't mean you want to go out there and do it. You can appreciate him talking about it. Maybe he really did it, but you're not going to go out there and do it because you understand there's a difference between what they are doing and what you got going on in your direct, immediate life. So I think men can appreciate what I'm saying here, that, again, we appreciate the IG models. Doesn't mean you want your daughter to become an Instagram model, all right? And I think from the men that I've talked to, they have all agreed to this. And I don't speak for all of y'all, but any of you disagree, you can let me know. So for me, here's my theory. I think men enjoy the idea of a woman who will quickly take off all her clothes, show everything she got, and there's no work that you as a man has to put in for her to be able to do all that. Within 5 minutes of you meeting her, everything's off of her, all the clothes on the floor, and you can do whatever you want to do. She's doing what she want to do too. However, you as a man, you probably wouldn't end up marrying that woman. Why? Because even if you don't think about it logically, if it was that easy for you, it was probably that easy for somebody before you, and it's going to be that easy for somebody after you. So that's probably why you wouldn't marry that woman, but you like the idea of being able to have that interaction, that engagement with that woman, right? The woman that you end up marrying, it probably won't be that easy. You might have to put some real work in, some real time, and bring some real substance to a interaction in order for it to even get close to that point, even after a considerable amount of time put into the engagement, right? So with that woman that you marry, you won't be able to get that fantasy of in 5 minutes you get everything that you want. However, that woman's going to make up for the fantasy that you lost. She's going to make up for that with everything else that she brings to the table, everything of substance else that she's bringing to the table. So there's a trade-off that you're going to be making. And women is the same thing for y'all. I'm just speaking from the male perspective more often because I am a male. But understand in life, when you're dealing with humans, there is always a trade-off. There's always a give and take. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. If it is, you might have like 5 minutes of things being perfect, and then you got to go right back to dealing with something. There's something else you got to handle, something else you got to deal with. Somebody else says something. Now you got to handle this. Because of how great everything has been going, now these things over here got to be handled. So this is the way that it works all the time in life. It's just like I live in Miami. It's sunny. It's beautiful. Y'all can see the sun hitting me right now. It's beautiful, warm, and sunny every day. But if it's like this for too long, then the plants don't grow because there ain't no rain, right? We need the rain. We need a little bit of cooling off so people can go outside. People who are old can't really live here that well because they don't like being outside in the humidity. They can't deal with it. You got to put on sunscreen. Whatever else comes with being in the heat. Y'all can talk to some environmental experts. They'll tell you about that. But there's a trade-off at all times because human beings are human. Point number 3. The topic here today is how to deal with the stuff that will come up all the time in life. And again, I'm just saying stuff, because I might boost this video on Facebook, and if I cuss too much, they won't let me. Point number 3, expect things to happen. Expect the stuff, okay? Expect it to happen. Now, when I say expect it, I want to be clear what I'm saying here, because I tell people all the time that in the long run in life, you always get your expectations. Whatever you expect in life, in the long run, you will get it. If you expect bad things to happen, bad things happen. You expect good things will happen in the long run. That might not be tomorrow, but in the long run, this is the way life turns out, the way people expect it to turn out. So when I say expect the challenges and the bad stuff to occur, what I mean is not just you're sitting around hoping that it's happening, but understanding that these things occur simply because people are people and life is life. So it's not whether or not the stuff is going to happen in your life. It's about how long you allow it to affect you and slow you down when it does happen. All right, so there will be a challenge that comes up in your life. So right now, anybody listening to me, if there's no big challenge in your life right now, pretty soon there will be one. Or maybe you just got finished dealing with one, or you're in the midst of dealing with one right now. That's just the way that it works for everybody. Everyone listening to me right now, there's some challenge that you're dealing with, big or small, and there will be others as soon as you get done with that one. Maybe you're going to have to deal with multiple of these challenges all at the exact same time. The question is, how quickly do you get back in the game? How long do you allow it to slow you down? How long do you allow a setback to keep you from focusing on all the other things that you need to be doing? How long do you allow a setback in this area of life to slow you down from doing what you need to do in this area? And how long do you allow something that's happening over here to keep you from putting your focus where it's supposed to be, which is over here? So in life, this whole, when I say work on your game, the third element of work on your game is mental toughness. And mental toughness is your ability to stay disciplined and confident even when the success or the outcomes that you have expected to achieve have yet to be achieved. Mental toughness is about understanding that there will be challenges in life. Again, not wanting challenges, but understanding that there will be challenges. So if and when the challenges do occur, you can see it, you recognize it, you see it for what it is, the realism of seeing what it is, handling it as it needs to be handled or not, and then getting back on your horse and doing what you had to do, getting back to what you were doing before, or making your changes as you need to, because maybe it's something that is going to require your immediate attention, but making sure you handle it, whatever that thing may be, okay? If you know something's going to happen, you know things are going to pop up from time to time in business, if you're playing a sport, if you're in a relationship, if you are just trying to do something really ambitious, you know it's not always going to work out. You know there are going to be days where things aren't going great. You know there are going to be people who don't show up, don't do what you expected them to do, let you down in some way, shape, or form, may even try to hurt you and sabotage you in some way, shape, or form. If you know this is going to happen in the game, it doesn't bother you as much when it does occur. There's a philosophy called Stoicism. And this guy named Louis Seneca, he wrote a book called Letters from the Stoic. I don't know if he wrote it as a book. It was just a bunch of his letters. They compiled it into a book. It's called Letters from a Stoic. The author's name is Seneca, Seneca. Y'all should look that book up and read about the Stoicism philosophy. Also, a current guy named Ryan Holiday, he writes about Stoicism all the time. Tim Ferriss writes about it a little bit as well. Look those people up and read about the philosophy so y'all can understand what it's about, which is not allowing your emotions to get unbalanced and out of control when the roller coaster of life is taking place. All right, there will be things that happen in life. Of course, some people's roller coaster goes way up and way down, like 0 to 100, like the song, right? 0 to 100, 100 to 0, 0 to 100, 100 to 0. And other people, they still have a roller coaster too, but instead of going 0 to 100, theirs is more like this. It's things that happen and things that don't happen, things that work and things that don't, but they don't allow themselves to go crazy over it. And there's some people who just get ridiculously high and ridiculously low no matter what's going on in their life, because there's always something happening. So that's all about the amount of emotional control and a level of stoicism that you can harness in your own life. So how long do you let it get to you? For example, if any of you follow my story, you know that when I rode my bicycle, I got a flat tire 2 times in like 3 weeks. 2 times in 3 weeks, I got a flat tire while I was riding my bike. And I didn't get upset about it. I didn't get angry about it. And I understood that when you ride on certain types of roads where there might be all kinds of debris on the road, and when you're riding a bicycle, there's a chance that you might get a flat tire. I think I posted on Instagram as well about when I got the flat. I think I posted that on, was that this past Monday or last Monday? I think it was last Monday. These are the kind of things that occur when you ride a bike, is you're going to get a flat tire. When you drive a car, you might get in an accident, or you might have something that happens with one of the wheels. You might need to get an oil change. There might be something going on in the engine, under the engine or under the hood in the engine, and you got to take it into the shop to get fixed. These are the kind of things that occur when you are driving a car or when you're riding a bike. If you play basketball, at some point you're probably going to twist your ankle or get some kind of injury that you got to deal with and you can't play. If you run track, you're probably going to injure your hamstring one day. This is all part of the game. If you sell products on the internet, one day somebody's going to complain and say they didn't get their product and they're going to demand a refund, and you're going to think that they're wrong, and you got to figure that out. That's all part of the game. In whatever game you're in, there's going to be something that occurs. That's why this work on your game philosophy, mental toughness, applies to anything, whether you're an author, an athlete, an influencer, a student, a business owner, whatever it is that you do, there's going to be a challenge that comes up. Can you make it through the challenge without losing control of your emotional balance? Get back on the horse, get back on the bike, get back in your car, and keep playing the game and doing what you need to do. That is the question you must be able to answer. It's all part of the game, knowing that it happens so that when it does happen, you are emotionally prepared for it. All that being said, that is how you deal with the stuff that happens in life. Now, I'm going to tell you how you can get this book right here for free. Then I'm going to recap my points. And if anyone has a question, go ahead and post it in the comment section. I'll address it. I saw a couple comments. I'll see if there was a question. So this right here is called The Mirror of Motivation. It's the self-guide to self-discipline. That's the subtitle, self-guide to self-discipline. I've written 27 books. As I've told you, people ask me, or people would always ask me, Dre, you've written all these books, you made all these courses, you got all this stuff. Where do I begin? And I didn't have an answer. So I fixed that problem, as I just told you, case in point, by saying, all right, here's where you start. Reason you start with this, because the work on your game, philosophy, discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative. Number 1, discipline. Showing up every single day to do the work. Now, why do you want this book? Because showing up every day to do the work may not sound that exciting to you. Here's the thing. Everybody listening to me right now, you have goals. You got things you want to achieve in life, places you want to go, and you understand you got to do some work to get there. If you're listening to me, you understand you can't get something for nothing in life. You got to put some effort in to get a result. Here's the question that you probably have not asked yourself, which is, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be as a person? Meaning my energy, the way I see myself, the way I approach life, the type of way that I show up and what I do in life. When you answer that question directly and clearly, then the actions that you take will produce completely different results. That's why you want this book. And that's why I made this book free. So this will be the first book you start with. If you never purchased anything of mine, and maybe you just heard of me for the first time today, go to mirrorofmotivation.com. There's the link right there in the pinned comment on IG. If you're watching this on Facebook, it's right down there in the title. Mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is already paid for. To get the book, all you do is cover the shipping. You tell us where to ship it. We ship this book worldwide. Doesn't matter where you live. Yes, we ship internationally. If you're not sure, your country's COVID or something like that, just send us an email. We'll help you out and let you know what we can do. Mirrorofmotivation.com. The book's covered. All you do is cover the shipping. Now, all that said, I'm going to recap these points really quickly, and then I'm going to address questions if somebody had one. How to deal with the stuff that comes up in life. Number 1, understanding is all part of the game. All right, when something is working, something else is not going to be working. You want a big house, you got to pay the landscapers to cut the grass. You want to live in a condo, sometimes they're going to make rules that you don't like, but hey, you live in there, that building, you got to deal with it, even if you own it. Number 2, understand that in life, nothing will ever be perfect. We are human. We are all imperfect, so there will always be a trade-off. There are no perfect human beings, so there will always be something that you got to give up in order to get something. You just got to decide what's the balance of giving up and getting that you're willing to accept? And point number 3, expect that things will happen. It's not whether or not things will happen. It's when, not if, but when things will happen. Okay. So you emotionally understanding that things will occur, you don't get emotionally unbalanced when something happens because you know it's going to happen at some point. Again, you're not hoping for it, but you know it will. So when it does, your emotions do not get out of control. You can stay even keel, deal with it as it is, handle it, and then get back to your business and doing what you need to do. All that being said, I'm going to address any questions that we may have in the comment section. Again, mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is paid for. You cover the shipping. Mirrorofmotivation.com. Mozart Gates was good. Bankroll United says, do I wear glasses? No. Have you ever seen me wearing glasses? Sunglasses. Ice Juro says, Facebook took down. No, they didn't take down it. I was just going to boost it, and they told me I couldn't boost it. But I posted on my story what happened with that. They didn't take down anything. They just wouldn't let me promote it because they got all these regulations now. But I will be able to promote it soon because I went and submitted the paperwork and all that. Super Swag, what's going on? Money May says, what's my insight into leasing or financing a car? That's not really my area of expertise. I don't really have no insight on that. If you have a question, ask it. C Press 30, what's going on? Martin Fabian said, good wisdom. I appreciate that. Ice says, you have to expect it like you know it'll happen and you're putting the work like it will happen. Yeah, that's close enough. It's close enough idea. All right, so nobody else had a question. This book right here is called Work on Your Game, Using the Pro Athlete Mindset to Dominate Your Game in Business, Sports, and Life. The way you get this book, this is a hardcover book. I took the best of my overall philosophy and I put it down to 250 pages at the request of my publisher. The way you get this book is when you go here and you claim your free copy of the Mirror of Motivation. When you put your shipping info in, on the very next page, this is all automated, so you ain't got to worry about what to do. On the very next page, we're going to make you an offer for this book plus another book called the Mental Workbook. You can get both of those together in a bundle at a special price that you cannot get anywhere else. So that's how you get this book. That's why I got it sitting here. So y'all know I did write a book about this whole Work on Your Game philosophy, but you start with this. Here is mirrorofmotivation.com. Books paid for, you cover the shipping. Somebody said Mark Zuckerberg's on your bumper with the Trump video. Now, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg's watching any individual videos. I think they got too much going on at Facebook. He ain't worried about my promotion. They make $90 billion a year from ads. He ain't concerned with $5, $10, $50 here or there. He ain't concerned with $1,000. All that being said, everybody, I do these lives every single day. Topic is not always the same. It's usually somewhere around between 4 and 5 p.m. is usually when I do my live. So y'all just stay tuned to my page if you're on Facebook. I don't know if they have notifications on Facebook and for lives. And IG, I don't know if they got notifications for this either, but just make sure your notifications are on. So if and when, not if, but when I go live, y'all know to hop on. Y'all know what it's going to be. If you miss it, it will always be up on my Facebook page, which is Facebook/Work on Your Game. And on Instagram is on my IGTV on the tab. So just go to my profile. There's a button there for IGTV. Click on that. That's where all the lives go. I don't put them on my main feed. I put them in there. And I put these on YouTube too. But on YouTube is a schedule so that it doesn't come out the same day. So now everybody knows where the lives are. If you miss any, stay tuned. Work on your game. Mirrorofmotivation.com. If you don't have this book, add it to your bookshelf. Be out of here. Work on your game. Dre all day. Out of here.